That was a good one. Mariners win 5-3. They improve to 6-8 on the season, and they take the first of a 3-game set against the Texas Rangers. Go over the scoring plays. Mariners start out fantastically. Jorge Polanco homers to right to make it 1-0. And in the second inning, Rowdy Tellez, congrats on your first as a Mariner, 2-0 at the end of 2. Rangers get 1 in the fourth. A Josh Young single to right to score Adolis Garcia. That makes it 2-1. But the Mariners build that lead back to 2 in the bottom of the inning. J.P. Crawford singles to left to score Rivas. 3-1 at the end of 4. Sixth inning, Texas. Josh Young had himself a night. Homers to right to score Josh Smith. It's tied at 3 in the middle of the sixth. It's a nice night, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough because big dumper Cal Raleigh, my hero, homers to right center to score Dylan Moore, pinch running for Polanco. 5-3, Mariners win. This is a good one. There's so much positive to talk about from this game, but I'm not going to break tradition. I'm going to start with the negatives. The most obvious negative is Trent Thornton. That was not good. And we've seen a lot of not good for Trent Thornton in some big situations too. I know it's only the sixth inning, but it's a 2-run lead, and you're hoping that you can get through that and get to your best relievers. We'll talk about one who's quickly becoming one of their best relievers. And I wanted to look up and see if the metrics matched my eye test with Trent Thornton. And it's correct, or my eyes are correct so far. There's been good. Like his whiff percentage, now this is coming into tonight, mind you. I think that was a sentence. This is coming into tonight's game. He's in the 79th percentile of all pitchers in whiffs, 80th percentile of ground ball. That's great. But the average exit velocity against Trent Thornton right now is 92 miles per hour. That's very bad. And hitters are barreling the baseball 12.5% of the time. That's really bad. So that means 1 out of 8 hitters he's facing is barreling the baseball. To say that's not ideal is the understatement of understatements. Expected ERA is 6.16. Expected batting average allowed 3.03. I don't want to go too crazy about stats literally 2 weeks into the season. They have played 2 weeks worth of games. So I don't want to go nuts here. But Trent Thornton is a guy I'm just not trusting in high leverage. That was true before the season. That was true during the 2024 season when they tried him a few times, and decent results. But we need Matt Brash back. We need Matt Brash back because it pushes down Trent Thornton and some of these other guys as well. Oh, they need Matt Brash back. Now, the rest of the bullpen did a great job, and we'll talk about that in a second. For negatives for the offense, not a ton. Julio had a tough night at the plate. Luke Raley had another tough night. Mastrobuoni is not a very good hitter. I suppose the negative here, and look, I'm going to talk about the positive with this too. It's been a while since I've seen the Mariners, and this is saying something. It's been a while since I've seen the Mariners have a worse 6, 7, 8 than they do right now. Rowdy Tellez, Miles Mastrobuoni, and Leo Rivas. All due respect to all three. And 2 of them contribute a lot tonight. Yeah. That's really bad. And sure, it's a lot based on injuries. Finding out, of course, that Ryan Bliss is going to be out for 5 months. Probably will miss the season. Jorge Polanco, he's in the lineup, but not able to play third. There's some injury stuff going on. Victor Robles obviously out as well, but that's bad. And I don't want to hear all this talk about the Mariners and their great depth. I don't want to go negative tonight. It's a great win. But the process of starting Tellez, Mastrobuoni, and Rivas isn't good. That's all I'll say about it. But I have a lot to say about Simply Seattle because they provide the very best in Seattle sports gear. Great stuff for the Mariners, of course, but the Seahawks, the Kraken, the Supersonics, the Storm, the Sounders, so many S's. Find it all at Mollywatt. Use code Mollywatt15 after you find it all at simplyseattle.com. MOLLYWHOP15, just all one word, but don't even worry about it. Just click the link on the description from this video. Go right there, order a bunch of stuff, save 15%. Easter's coming up. I don't know if you get kids' toys or people clothes for Easter or not, but just get it for the being nice. MOLLYWHOP15, simplyseattle.com. Thank you so much for all you do for us. Okay, the positives. Bryce Miller was awesome. Awesome. Didn't have his best command, but the stuff was really good, and he worked around any type of jam that he had outside the fourth inning. Awesome job. Just easily his best start of 2025. Definitely not his best start of 2024. Great job. Great job. And yeah, we want to see more efficiency so we don't have to use as many relievers there. But, and by we, I mean the Mariners, of course. I've said we a couple of times in this video. I'm just not going to correct it. We would like to see more efficiency. That hasn't been there for him so far. But the stuff has looked excellent. Very nice job from Bryce Miller. Outside of Thornton, the bullpen was very good. Gabe Spire looks awesome. I struggle getting too excited about Gabe Spire because last year we got pretty excited about Gabe Spire too, and he was an excellent option for them in 2023. So let's keep that in mind. But he got off to that great start, and then things fell apart, in part because of injury. But he's looked awesome. He's honestly looked like their second best reliever this year. I want to see him in high leverage more. You don't want to overwork him, and it's important to keep Gabe Spire available, especially right now with only one lefty in the pen, or one lefty. Isn't it one lefty? Yeah, whatever. I think it's one lefty. I can't think of who the other one would be right now. You want to have him for those situations. You don't want to save him for a situation that may not come, but you know what I'm saying. So it's a little difficult, but I want Gabe Spire pitching more in high leverage stuff. He's looked awesome. And so is Carlos Vargas. Like, yes, going to him for a save situation against San Francisco was a little silly. I hated how that game was managed. But I think Carlos Vargas has shown the stuff that made him such an intriguing relief prospect and why Seattle wanted to acquire him in the Eugenio Suarez trade. Now that trade's a loss. Straight up a loss. The Mariners did not win that trade. Carlos Vargas would have to be a elite reliever in order for that to make any type of sense, because Sebi Zavala stinks and plays somewhere else, and Vargas is not going to be the type of reliever that makes up for the player that, in my humble estimation, Eugenio Suarez is. But he can still help, and he's helped them a lot. He's been so much more critical than I think they thought he was going to be. Let's be honest. One of the reasons that Carlos Vargas is on this roster is because he's out of options and because of the injuries to Matt Brash and Troy Taylor. If he had options and if those guys are healthy, Carlos Vargas doesn't make this team. I could be wrong on that, but it sure seems like it. He's been excellent. And then Munoz still doesn't have great command right now, but he gets the double play. He gets the strikeout. He still hasn't given up an earned run, even though his control has been wonky. Doesn't matter. His stuff's that good. Andres Munoz is an elite closer. And the bullpen pitched elite tonight, even with Trent Thornton, wetting the bed. This was a good one. Offensively, some really strong games. Leo Rivas getting on twice. JP Crawford getting on twice. And with the big RBI single, that was so big because it made it a 3-1 game instead of 2-1. And you don't win without it. I know you win by 2, but it was big to make it a 2-run game. That homer just tied instead of made it a go-ahead for them. Who else played well tonight? Oh, obviously, Jorge Polanco. Man, oh man. He's become so vital. And also, I have to give Dan Wilson credit here for moving Jorge into that number 2 hole. It's a little easier to justify with no Victor Robles. I don't know who else would be hitting second. I guess you could argue putting JP Crawford at the top and Julio at the 2 spot again. But I like Julio at leadoff. I know the results haven't been great there this year. Just take a look at the numbers before this. I'm telling you, it's going to work out. And if it doesn't, I'll just ignore it because that's what good YouTube hosts do. Great game for Polanco. A Rosarina showing off a little speed. I want to see him run more. Got to get on base a little bit more. But the metrics suggest that Randy Rosarina has been much better than the numbers suggest. And also, he just had one of the best games of any Mariner of the last couple of years. So, can't complain too much. Big dumper. I just love the guy. And those of you who have followed me for a while, once again, I apologize. But also, just know how big a fan I've been of this guy for so long. And is he better than I thought he was going to be? Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, 100%. But I liked him a lot. And he's done nothing but justify my love, my admiration. He's such a good player. He takes such good at-bats. The results aren't always there, obviously. And this year they haven't been. You know, he's still slugging .396 with a .680 OPS. That's not what we want. But you just watch the dude play. And you just, if you don't come away impressed with Cal Raleigh watching him, I hate to say it, but you don't know ball. You don't know ball if you're not impressed with Cal Raleigh, a.k.a. Big Dumper, a.k.a. my best friend, a.k.a. my hero. He's so good and came through in a massive situation. First time all year they've won 2 games in a row. And sure, it's April 11th, so that's not like damning or darning. Sorry, Pioneer. Shout out Pioneer Elementary. It's not good. And now you have a great chance to win this series because you take the first. Just got to win one of the next 2. But a sweep would be amazing. To have the start that you had, you start out 3-7, you fall to 4-8, and then you go down 5-0. You really should have lost that game, but you didn't because of heroics from Randy. And, you know, the big hit by Julio and all that stuff too, but the heroics from Randy, that's an accurate assessment. To get a sweep, and I know they still got to win 2 more games, but I'm a dreamer. At the very least, you have a great chance to win this series. At the very, very least, the worst thing that happens is you get a split in the homestand, which is not the worst result. It's not the best. It's not the best. It's not ideal, especially after you start 3-7. You got to win home games against your division. Oh, but man, this was a big win. A big win where they played a complete game. The offense was solid, you know, some lulls for sure, but certainly solid enough. Defense was good. Pitching was good. Can't ask for much more. You literally can't ask for much more. If they play like they did tonight, they're going to win a lot of games. Can they do it? Can they put together a stretch of quality baseball in the early portion of the season? We'll find out. I'm sure hoping so. But if they play like they did tonight, they're going to be a really good baseball team because they sure look like a good baseball team tonight. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Really appreciate the support. Back with another live one tomorrow. Good win. Thank you, Big Dumper.